Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. When I first started out doing these evolution reports, I specifically called them evolution reports instead of transit reports because I really wanted you to be clear that although the energies that we experience from the celestial plane are transitory by nature, there is a focused and deliberate momentum with these energies. They are teaching us and providing for us the energetic soup, so to speak, for us to marinate in and experience and ultimately deepen our knowledge, our wisdom, our power, and to literally evolve. The nature of life is growth and expansion, and the planetary energies give us what we need to grow and expand. But the other part that I think I really want to make sure that I'm emphasizing, particularly given the nature of the celestial weather that we're in right now, we are in a long-term cycle. And when I say long-term, I mean multiple years. We're in a big evolutionary cycle that has an enormous amount of catalytic energy in it, that has an enormous amount of initiating energy in it, that has an enormous amount of, I'm not going to say rockiness because it's not rockiness, but there's a lot of navigating the unexpected that we're kind of in the middle of right now. And there's a purpose for that and there's a reason for that. When we talk about evolution, I think a lot of us are deeply entrained to think about evolution as sort of being this linear thing, right? We're all conditioned in school with that pattern or that picture that we use or that we've seen with the monkey sort of emerging into the ape, kind of going into a Neanderthal and standing upright as a man. And we have this idea that evolution is this linear piece. What we see, in fact, is that evolution, particularly for humans, is not so much linear, but maybe more cyclical. We go through cycles of creative expansion, cycles through growth, and we have thematic cycles that repeat themselves over and over again, giving us opportunities over the course of our life to deepen our creative process and to have greater experiences really playing with the themes of who we are and the essence of who we are, and to get more and more wise and more masterful with the expression of who we are in this lifetime. It's not necessarily linear, it's repetitive and cyclical. And the nature of being creative as a human has cycles of repetition and cycles of cycles. Not only that, the unexpected plays a crucial role in the process of evolution. If you're just plodding along, do one thing after another in a linear fashion, you're not actually being evolutionary. You're being logical. You're being sequential. You're being patterned. You're being consistent. And the truth is, life and even natural patterns have extremes built into them. Think of weather. Weather isn't like this consistent thing that chugs along. It has cycles of extremes in it. And those cycles of extreme, although they might create destruction, they can. It's from the destruction that ultimately we're given an opportunity to build anew, to build better, to build on the things that did work before, and to change perhaps the things that didn't work. This is a long preamble to let you know that I've been peeking ahead at what's coming up in the next year, and I do want you to know that we're going to be in a cycle of unexpected shifting energies, and maybe even potentially some energies that have the feeling or the sense of being extreme. And it's easy when we're faced with things that break the patterns of our regular daily life or our regular daily vision of what we think our growth or our evolution should be. It's easy to forget that those shifts, those twists along the path of our evolutionary process are vital for us to really grow and expand and allow us to get rid of things that are not working and to fully embrace and expand the things that are. So when I talk about shifts and changes and the unexpected and being prepared for things that you don't know necessarily how to be prepared for, and by the way, the way to do that is to be resilient. When I talk about that, it's not about frightening you or making you feel like you're going to be completely out of control with a bunch of chaos going on. It can look chaotic, particularly if you're not aware of what's going on, but you have the advantage of being aware of what's going on. And so I really want you to embrace the unexpected as being the catalyst for your growth and expansion. It's the insertion of by the universe and the celestial weather of the unexpected into your life, because that unexpected quality is actually what spurs you forward into your growth and allows you to make evolutionary leaps that transcend that linear cogwheel thing that we've learned as in terms of progress. It allows you to take quantum leaps in your evolution and to shift the meanings of your experience so that you can collapse and create a different reality out of the quantum field. That being said, buckle your seatbelts, because we are on the cusp of entering into a 2-month cycle of really having things get shaken up a bit. I want you to be prepared that the things that you think might be unfolding might shift and change dramatically in the process of that unfolding. We've already seen that somewhat this year, and it's not going to stop, and it's not going to end. We're in a cycle of unexpected energies, unexpected twists and turns, but it's not bad. It's only bad when you resist it, and it's bad when you fight against it and you don't stay in alignment with the flow of the shifts and changes, and you don't embrace it and see it as an opportunity for accelerated growth, an opportunity to take a quantum leap. Okay, now we're not into that cycle yet. We still have another week of solid, focused momentum. We are in the process of really examining our focus. We are looking at what we're focused on. We are paying attention to taking our focus and what we're thinking about and living and enacting out into the world with great enthusiasm. As the next week evolves, we're going to slip into a cycle where we're going to be evaluating our patterns and habits and looking at our past experiences and integrating our wisdom and our knowledge in creating new patterns and habits. I want to stress this strongly to you. Next year, the theme of next year is going to be learning how to have faith. We are being given training wheels by the planets to practice becoming faithful, trusting in the infinite and abundant supply of the universe. You don't get there magically, okay? You don't get to faith magically. Faith is like a muscle, and it takes practice to be faithful. It takes conscious and deliberate attention to your mindset. It takes conscious and deliberate attention to your emotional energy, and it takes your mind lining up your emotions and staying in a place of positive expectation and faith, if you want to call it that everything's going to work out okay. If you do not cultivate consistent patterns and habits that keep your mind in the right place and your emotions in the right place, it's very easy when the unexpected happens to go off the cliff, okay? So right now, before anything else transpires, and especially while we have this energy of the gate 5 and the sun next week, I want you to really think about your patterns and habits. And are your patterns and habits really supporting the full manifestation and the full exercise and practice necessary for you to step strongly into your faith, for you to know how to navigate the unexpected with a faith-filled mindset, with a powerful mindset, with the right emotions, and with the awareness that when you stay in that place, everything will unfold the way it needs to, and all you need to do is keep paying attention to the clues that are unfolding in front of you. That's your job this weekend. Sit down and really get clear about, are your daily life patterns and habits, is it the way in which your mind working? Are your emotions really aligning you with what it is you want to be creating in the world? That's your first homework. Second thing I want you to just be mindful of, there's a little bit of blaming energy floating around in the relationship sector this weekend. So also be careful of pointing your fingers and making sure that if your routine isn't what you think it should be, it's not anybody else's fault. So don't go sticking that finger out at anybody else. Go take that little finger back to the mirror and take a nice long look at yourself in the mirror and make sure you're pointing the finger exactly where it needs to go. The energy of blame is also the energy of self-empowerment and self-love. Twist it around and see what you need to learn from Mr. Finger pointing at you, at somebody else. The second thing that I just want you to be aware of is our intuition is still running really loud and really clear right now. So trust yourself. If something feels off or wrong, trust it and really go with it. Let yourself really drop into that feeling level of what your intuition feels like, and don't get into your head and try to second guess yourself. Lastly, but not least, we still are working with this willpower energy that we've had all year. Willpower is vital and important. It teaches us what, when, and how we need to push through things when the timing is right. But willpower is also about knowing when to rest. And I think a lot of us are really teetering on the edge of burnout and have been feeling that lack of surge. So be mindful too that you're continuing, especially till the end of the year. Really make sure you're nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, that you're clearly recognizing the difference between, or the balance between, effort and relaxation. Don't shortchange yourself on the rest and restoration piece. If you think you don't have time for rest, that is the sign that you need to rest extra. You will get more done, you will be more productive, you will be physically more vital when you give yourself permission to rest. In fact, you may even find that you make more money and you have more time if you rest rather than gunning it and pushing it through. Okay, that's all I got for you this week. Next week, starting next week, my schedule has changed a little bit because I am now teaching yoga to children on Wednesday mornings. So the transit report will now be coming out on Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays. So we'll have a short week this week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And thank you for being you and for all that you do in the world and on the planet. See you next week.